What's up, everybody? Trinity here, and welcome back to the Second Street Marvel for today's comic book review. And today, guys, we are talking about White Widow issue number 4. This book is being published by Absolute Comics Group. Now, if you haven't ever heard of this comic book or this comic book company, hey, I can't blame you. You know, it happens. They're a little bit smaller company. They started off this by, I think this originally started off with like Kickstarters, Indiegogos, and things like that. So, you know, and then they got some into the diamond distribution and everything. Hey, all good, man. I'm telling you, I really do like this book. Now, White Widow was created by Jamie Tyndall and Benny Powell. Benny Powell is doing the story and letters in this book, and pencils and inks are done by Ewan Nazif, and the colors are done by James Brown. Now, this is on pages 1 through 23, pretty much, where all of that stuff is done by those two. On the very last page of the book, the art, colors, inks, pencils, is all done by Jamie Tyndall himself, one of the creators. And then the editor is Jenna Powell. So, and I tell you that because the art is a little bit different in the book. I'll show you those names right there. The art is a little bit different in the book than what you're getting like on the covers and things like that, but not much different. I have no real complaints about that in this book whatsoever. Now, one of the things I like about this book is the fact that every single time you get a new issue, right at the very beginning, they give you this little bit of story right here to get you caught up. Yeah, just in case you haven't read all of the previous books, which is nice because, as I said at the beginning, if you haven't ever heard of White Widow, you haven't heard of these books, you get one of these at the very beginning. They got that nice little intro, catches you up on what happened in pretty much each issue leading up to this point. And so that's kind of nice, right? Now, if you haven't been keeping up with White Widow, I'm going to get you caught up really quick. What's happened here is our hero, Gabby Garcia, she was born with this degenerative disease, I guess, when she was a baby, and her parents injected her with this this DNA that they got from a White Widow that has some regenerative abilities, and they always closely monitored her as she was growing up. Well, when she was going to college, she's a volleyball player. She was in practice, and she ended up passing out. Her parents were really worried. She went to the hospital. They went and seen her. They were closely monitoring her after they brought her home, so they could keep an eye on her because they're doctors, they're scientists, and so they were monitoring her. They were really worried about her. And we can see here that she doesn't exactly get along with her parents the best in the world. You know, she's a young woman. You know, they probably just things going on here, and some of that ties to their work. Now, then what happened was her this company that her parents worked for, they went after them to kill them. I can't exactly remember what happened there. There was some sort of leaks that happened, and then so her father went, seeing that his daughter obviously was still hurting, so he went to her apartment and injected her with this green stuff. And it gave her this suit. These agents came into her apartment and ended up killing her father. And then they started chasing her. Her body started reacting just naturally because of these nanobots that her parents put in her. Her father had put in her, and it kind of gives her powers and makes it like some of those are instinctual, kind of like Spider-Man, right? I know what you're thinking. I know you're thinking that. So she ended up escaping. And that's what happened pretty much in these first few issues. She ended up escaping. She come across a couple of other bad guys, super villains, if you will, that work for this agency that's after her in this suit. And she's had some confrontations. Well, she went out there to get some help from this other superhero that is out there, this new superhero called Andromeda. So she went to this big ball that was going on. She was going to be there making an appearance and signing autographs and stuff. And so she went there to seek out her help. And they met on the roof at this party, and they were talking about things that were going on. She told her about her parents, and then she found her parents' murderers and all this stuff. And she was asking for help. And Andromeda said, "Well, sure. I'll meet you at such and such place, soon. Here after this ball. Let's just make a basically kind of make a quick exit here." So she decides to go meet her at this place. She was tracking down these killers she tracked down the killers to this warehouse. So she was sitting there getting ready to meet Andromeda, and that's when she ends up basically getting jumped by this other hero. She got the drop on her. This other, I guess not hero. This other villain right here, known as Artemis. So they ended up getting into a fight, and that's where we pick up here in issue number 4. They're sitting there fighting. They're going back and forth. Gabby Garcia is getting her butt kicked because this other person is a trained assassin. She's a trained villain. She's a bad guy. She's new to this. Gabby Garcia is new to this. She's not used to all this. Like, she has some skills, some athletic ability, but she's not a killer. She's not like that, you know. So interesting stuff going on here. I'll show you a little bit more of the art in this book. Very beautiful art. I really do like this. So they're sitting there fighting, going back and forth, and as they're sitting there fighting, this character Artemis puts this tracker on Gabby Garcia as well. Puts this tracker on her right there, and so she's good. So she can follow her. Well, Gabby Garcia realizes that this fighter has the best of her. So she ends up making kind of fooling her and making an escape. Well, then later she realizes that she's being followed by this drone, and she finds a way to escape that as well, a little crafty way, so she could get back to her friend's apartment and without being followed, so she don't take anybody there. And that's right there. Once she gets back to her friend's apartment, so. Very good stuff here. Like I said, I really quite enjoyed this series. Now the one thing I will say is, you know, it's a superhero book, and when it comes to doing superheroes, to me, I think, like, when it comes to origin stories and all that kind of stuff, like, you can write a different origin story, but when it comes to powers and all that stuff, suits and everything, it seems like it's all kind of been done. So doing something like completely original is kind of hard to do. Where we see that Gabby Garcia here, she's a female. She has these powers now that are almost like Spider-Man and Venom, kind of all at the same time, and I'm okay with that. Okay, I'm okay with that because this book is actually pretty good. The origin story of this character seems pretty decent. Like I said, something happens, in her childhood. She has a sickness. And hey, that's pretty cool. Like I said, for the story itself, it's pretty good. Originality, like I said, superhero stuff. Let's admit it. There's just it's kind of all been done, but I do like this. Like I said, while not super original, it does have a good story here. These characters I really do like. As over just 4 issues, I've really come to like this series. When I first read first one I ever read was issue number 2, and it kind of made me chuckle a little bit. And when I did my video, and I was talking about that, and then the creators actually reached out to me and got a hold of me, and they sent me a copy of issue number 1. And then the extended version of issue number 2, and then by that point I had issue number 3 as well, and I read it, and so it was, and I've really come to like this series. I really have. Now the other thing, I know maybe some people out there might be thinking like, okay, so we got somewhat kind of a copycat superhero, like with some like I said, it's hard to do original stuff in superhero if you ask me, but we got that. You got a female heroine here. Is this comic book woke? No, it's not. It's not. It has no agendas or anything like that. It don't have any of that kind of language. These guys right here are writing, so just putting together a pretty good story. And like I said, like character original, powers and stuff original, probably not. But the story they're telling here, I think, is actually a pretty good story. I think it is an original story. Now, the one thing they are doing here is they are building a world of different characters. Here on the back, they show you all of these different books that they actually have coming out. And I want to read some of these books. I'm gonna reach out to these guys and see where I can go. I know they have a website. I'll see if I can leave that links down in the description here, where you can go and check out their website, because they have these like dual identity. This comic book right here, this is the book about one of the heroes that she comes across here in White Widow. We've got Wayward Sons, Darkon, Amped. Just some different cool books. I know they're getting ready to come out with another book called I Make Boys Cry. Now, I've showed you some of the art in this book. I'll show you a little bit more if you'd like. The art in this book, I like the art, the colors, everything in here is pretty good. Now, there's I don't know, sometimes I feel like there's something in here that could be a little bit different. but I don't know what it is, like, because to me this is all well put together. I will say there is a little bit of difference in the art from what you get in the regular book. I'm gonna get into some spoilers here because we do meet some new villains here at the end of this book. Now I'm gonna spoil this because I want to show you guys some of the art from the regular art to the Jamie Tyndall art. Okay, now here is like some of the regular art where we're getting these new villains right here introduced, and you can see those see the art right here. You see her up here, him down here. And how all of that art looks. I mean, it's good art in the first place, is it not? That's pretty decent. That's pretty damn good art. And then here is the Jamie Tyndall art right there, with these characters. So you can see the difference in his style and just his characters and everything. But you can tell that what they're doing throughout the rest of the book kind of matches with the vision that he has and they have when they were making this book. So I've got to say, 4 issues in, I really do like this series. It's one I definitely think that you should check out. It's good. It's a fun story. Like I said, while not fully original and everything like that, I think they've got a world unfolding before us that is going to be fun to read and get into. But I want to know from you. Let me know down in the comments below. Have you ever read White Widow? Is it something that you might be into? Or did I talk you into going and checking it out? Let me know down in the comments below. That's all I have for this video today, folks. Thank you all so much for tuning in to the 2nd Street Marvel. If you haven't already, please make sure you subscribe. Click the little bell and all of that good stuff. Give this video a thumbs up if you like it. Give it a thumbs down if you don't, although that's just weird. But while you're at it, make sure that you share it with a friend and invite them to come hang out with us here on the 2nd Street Marvel, where we love to review and talk about comic books and hang out with you and talk about them. You all have a very good day, and we'll see you in the next video. Later.